Perfect. So we have Tony Martinez on the line today. He's going to go through the expectations for the upcoming live in-person CDPE class. Tony, are you with us?
I'm here. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. Take it away.
Can you see my screen? Make sure you can see my screen. You see my screen there, okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity. Hey, so just so I make sure I know, how much time did you allot for me? Because I like to teach as much as I can, but I want to be respectful of the time provided.
Yeah, you can have, just like what Rudy said, you can have 50 minutes.
Is that 1-5 or 5-0?
50.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was going to say 15
All
minutes.
right.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try not to use it all, but this is a great opportunity. I'm super impressed with the number of folks you have participating. This is amazing. So I'm here to provide you a distressed property update and an introduction to the CDPE. Now, for a lot of you, the CDPE doesn't need any introduction because you joined us early when I acquired the CDPE in June of 20. Actually, I acquired it in May of 2021, launched it again in June of 2021. And the very first person that reached out to me, first broker to reach out to me, was Rudy. He was already ahead of the game saying, what would it take so I can get at least 20 of my agents to go through this training? Now he's taking it to another level because he said, I want you to come out here and teach it in person. And we do have the event already scheduled on December 13th in Monrovia. But I wanted to give you a little taste of what's happening in the distressed property market. Why is this training so important? Why is it so critical now? And give you a little taste of what I cover in the class so that you can see the tremendous value. I am a real estate broker in my own right. I'm not as good as Rudy, but I try, who is, right? But I know the responsibilities that he has, and he and I share a lot of things in common. I guess if I have any claim to fame is that I've really made short sales my favorite topic, and I enjoy teaching on this topic. I've taught at least 15,000 agents all about the short sale process and also recently acquired the CDPE. Now, the reason I show this image, because this is what I encounter every single day when I try to convey to real estate agents, and sadly, to real estate brokers and executives of very large companies, that they should be preparing their agents for how to work with the shift that's coming and how to prepare their agents to work with the distressed property segment. I am constantly told that there's nothing to be concerned about. There's no issue to, come back and talk to me. Maybe in a year, we'll see what's going on. And this is something that you guys are very fortunate to have a leadership that can look in the future. In other words, he knows where the puck is going and he's skating to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is right now. We have to wake up to some certain realities. Now, my goal is to bring up these realities without coming across like I'm saying that the world is going to come to an end. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that we're going to have a real estate crash. What I'm saying is that this is very different now from what it's been the last couple of years. And it just makes sense to be aware of how you can take advantage of some of the shifts within the market. Let me share with you some numbers because I have my opinion. We're all entitled to our own opinions, but not our own facts. So I'm just going to go through this quickly. Now, I don't make these up. I get these right from adamdata.com. The first one has to do with the third quarter of 2022. What are the top 5 states for foreclosure starts? That means where the banks or bank initiates a foreclosure activity. Well, there you see California at the very top, and that was for the third quarter of this year. Now, for October, the latest numbers are out. California is not in the top right now when it comes to October, but you can see that Illinois, a lot of the kind of the same players that we're used to seeing. Now, for Q3 of 2022, we saw a minor increase over the quarter before, but a major increase over the year before of 167%. Take a look at this graph on the bottom right. You can see what happened during COVID. During the moratoriums, foreclosure action was essentially put on hold. But now we're starting to regain what is considered maybe normal, we're almost back to pre-pandemic numbers. And please remember that, because what I try to tell agents is we don't have to have a crash. We just have to get back to pre-pandemic numbers to see a significant increase in foreclosure activity. Now, foreclosure starts in October, minor reduction over the month before, major increase over next year. What tends to happen this time of year, as we get closer to the holidays, a lot of the banks do not pursue foreclosure action during this time of year. It kind of gives people the false impression that that everything is okay, but even the banks don't want to see people kicked out of their homes during the holidays. So we should see this action really start to pick up again in the first quarter of 2023. Now, foreclosure filings, this means it goes all the way to bank repossession. In October, we saw a 2% increase over the month before, 57% increase over the year before. Now, one of the things I hear all the time is the banks are not foreclosing. There are no REOs. Well, tell that to the 21,000 folks that lost their homes in the first half of 2022. So you can see California is right there in fourth position. The foreclosure activity has picked up. Banks are following through all the way to the end. Now, when you look at big areas across the country, metropolitan areas of 1 million people or more, worst foreclosure rates for October. Look where California is, in particular, Riverside, California is in fourth position. We get calls every day from brokers and agents across the country. I would say 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 of these calls are from the West, mostly in California. Folks in California now are realizing that things are changing. What else is going to change? What else is going to impact? Have you ever heard of the term zombie foreclosure? That's when a foreclosure property has been abandoned. 1.3 million. That's a significant amount of inventory. Most of these are not even on the market yet. Now think about this. Why would anybody leave their home when they're still the owner of it? And that's because so many of these folks don't understand the process. They don't understand their rights. They need real estate agents that will approach them, engage them, and assist them, because there's no reason for them to leave the property prematurely. Now, I want to kind of tell you what I see. I spend a good bulk of my time researching, looking at trends, making sure that I believe I have my finger on the pulse of what's going on. And here's what I believe is going to contribute to another major wave of foreclosures. First and foremost, there's no more protection against them. This is now gone. It's hands off now, and the banks are able to initiate and proceed and conclude foreclosure action. Now, you all seen what the inflation rate has done and the impact on our housing market. Even though it's starting to dip a little bit, the biggest impact that inflation has had has been the actions on the part of the feds. It was just a little over a week ago that they raised their rates again by 75 basis points. And even though we saw a little bit of a reduction in inflation this past month, the only thing that really assured us or gave us comfort is that maybe instead of another 75 basis points in December, that the feds might only increase it by 50 basis points. But you guys are feeling it, just like we're all feeling it across the country. The rising rates of interest rates have put a pinch on people being able to buy. Now, this is an area where I get some pushback on, because if you were on this call with me a month ago, you would say, Tony, unemployment is still incredibly low. We don't have an issue and everything else. And here's what I would have said. Is it that unemployment is really that low? Or is it that participation rate is historically low? Because I know a lot of people that just simply don't want to work. They're not even trying to find work. Now, look what's happened in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Look how many layoffs have been announced. You all are seeing this because so many of these are in the tech sector. And so many of the tech sector jobs are in Silicon Valley and in California. Folks, it is just beginning now. Amazon just announced that they're going to lay off, what, 10,000 people? Meta laid off 11,000 folks. This is the beginning of what I believe is going to be a huge number of folks becoming unemployed. Just the rising rates are going to contribute to it. As you can see in this article by ABC, that the feds have forecasted that by the end of 2023, the unemployment rate, if it goes from 3.7 to 4.4, would add an estimated 1.2 million to the unemployment rate. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I'm at the NAR convention, the national convention this past week, and there was a lady there, a real estate agent from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm from Florida. And she goes, "No, we don't have a problem here." I go, "Oh, okay. Well, that's not what the numbers say." And she says, "Well, we don't have any inventory." And I go, "What does inventory have to do with people not being able to afford their payments? If someone's out of work and they can't make their payments, it doesn't matter how many properties are on the market or not. It means that they probably can't stay in their home." And see, this is what I encounter every single day when trying to convey this message. Does anybody watch what's going on with debt in our country? Because at the end of the day, it's the overwhelming debt that's going to keep people from being able to make their bills. Let me back up a second. What does inflation cause a lot of people to do? They're making decisions between putting gas in their tank and food on their table. Well, you know why a lot of people are getting by? Because they're charging it. Consumer debt took one of the largest increases ever by over $350 billion. People are living off of their credit cards. It's just borrowed time. Now, at the same time that people are borrowing money, they're not saving money. We've never been a nation that really saves a lot, but personal savings have now gone off a cliff. That actually is the headline of this recent article. So do you guys see how this is going to start to domino effect? People are paying more for everything. The prospects of a recession are looming. People are starting to become unemployed. They're tapping their credit cards. They're tapping their home equity. Now, when you talk recession, there's a lot of folks that say, well, we're really not technically in a recession. Well, because unemployment, this past quarter, the GDP was actually up. Well, just keep in mind that when surveyed, 97% of executives believe that we were or soon will be in a recession. It takes a while for things to catch up. The feds traditionally, anytime that they have raised rates to get inflation under control, in almost every, if not every single scenario, it's led the country into a recession. When we're in a recession and people are starting to realize, they start to spend less. Now, if you tried to use the word housing bubble a year ago, you'd be laughed off the stage. You know what that reminds me of? 2006, 2007. Here's the reality. About 80% of the agents I meet every day did not have their license in 2008. So they've never been through a market like that. So they don't understand and see the similarities between what happened then and what's happening right now. We had about 10 years worth of appreciation in 2 years. No area knows more about this in California, but we've already seen the beginnings of the reductions in price. So one of the biggest pushbacks I get all the time is people say, Tony, but we have so much equity now. We're an equity-rich nation. Well, did you guys happen to catch the Black Knight report that came out about a week and a half ago that shows in the third quarter, we lost over $1 trillion in equity from the market, just in the reductions we've seen so far? Most experts are forecasting that the hottest areas in the country, and look where you guys are going to see probably the biggest potential for price reductions as we go into 2023 and 2024. So think about this, as their payments and responsibilities are going up, their equity is going down. Have you seen an increase in people borrowing against their homes? Have you seen more people take out HELOCs, home equity lines? Yes. So do you see the combination? Whatever equity they have, what if they're already tapping said equity? As we see, I'm going to skip over a couple of these, but I like this article here. It says the housing market has not seen such a significant 2-month drop in prices since shortly after the collapse of Lehman Brothers in the winter of 2008. So we have to wake up to the fact that we're in a different market now, and there are factors that are going to be affecting all of us. You probably have seen this. This is something that's across the board. Sales volume is dropping. This is contributing now to our industry going through a shakeout. Inevitably, I get asked this question. All right, Tony, you seem to know it all. Is it going to be as bad as 2008? I don't have a crystal ball, but let me kind of give you this illustration. Imagine this being 2008. This is a 100-foot tsunami. This is a rock where a distressed homeowner was standing on, facing foreclosure. That's how bad it was. 2022, 2023, the only difference is this tsunami might only be 25 feet. Now, you tell me, if you're standing on a rock with 25-foot tsunami coming your way, you're not comparing it to a 100-footer. You're bracing for impact. And this is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter that we never get close to 2008 numbers. Anyone going through foreclosure is a tragedy. We need to do more to step up and help these individuals. The next question I'm asked is, well, Tony, how many short sales are we going to see? And I know where they're going with this. They're saying, but we have more equity now, right? Yes, we do. At least for now, we do. I can't tell you what's going to happen a year from now. But yes, when you compare now to 28 or 2910, there's significantly more properties with equity. But here's my question back to them. What does it matter? If they're losing their home and they have equity or they don't, they're still losing their home. They need someone to approach them. If they have equity, you know what the good news is? You can list it as a regular sale. But if they don't have equity, whatever percentage that is, my course will teach you how to do a short sale from start to finish so that you don't lose that potential business, that potential transaction. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Pay attention. Engage in the distressed property segment. You know why? It's not crowded. I know distressed properties are not sexy. Luxury, that's a sexy segment. Our segment is not sexy, but our segment is not crowded either, because the typical real estate agent doesn't know how to work the distressed properties market. Don't be that agent. So here's what we're thinking. We want to get as many equity sales. We want to avoid REOs. By the time it gets to the REO stage, that means the homeowner has lost the property and has serious potential consequences. And when they don't have equity, we want to list these folks as a short sale. Now, let me make something very clear. What we try to do is we try to do everything possible to help them stay in their home. We want to help them get help, find assistance wherever possible. When all those options have been exhausted and there's no way that they can stay in their home, that's when we offer our services to help them exit with dignity, either through a regular sale or a short sale. There's chaos, but there's also opportunity within chaos. And the opportunity is simple. You can grow your business. Rudy shared his story last time I was on a call with him. And when it was 2008 and 9, and he went through this, it actually brought him the largest volume production that he I think, had at that in his career. So it can not just help you to survive, it can really help you to thrive when you understand this segment. But you do have to have a heart to serve. You can't do it only for the money. You really have a desire to help people avoid foreclosure. And that's where my course comes in. Now, I want to give you a little bit from the class. I have 23 modules that I teach, and I teach it online or live and in person like I'm doing for you all. And here's one of my segments, and it's important for agents to know this, because when you're able to memorize this and share this with folks, you're able to get folks to take action. Many folks that are going through foreclosure are emotionally so distraught. They are not thinking clearly, and they need someone to point out maybe what no one else has. I'll give you an example. If you have a foreclosure on your record, it stays on your credit report for 7 years. And then when you want to go buy again, if you're seeking a conventional loan, you might be prevented or ineligible for one for 5 to 7 years. But look at the difference if it's a short sale. If it's a short sale, they might qualify in as little as 2 to 3 years. See, that's a significant difference. They'll always have to disclose on all future applications that they had a foreclosure on their record, and their credit score is significantly impacted. Now, we're talking about employment, right? Many employers go far beyond just background checks. They'll do a credit check. If someone has a bankruptcy or a foreclosure on their record, it could prevent them from getting the job that they're seeking. They might even lose the job that they currently have based on company policies. You know, companies that have employees handling money normally don't want someone that's got a bankruptcy or a foreclosure on their record handling money. There's quite a few professions out there that you cannot even get a job there if you have a foreclosure or bankruptcy on your record. What about maybe going to the job they always wanted? Their current employer may not have an issue, a future one might. Now, in California, I'm sure that there's an even larger degree of individuals that have security clearances. Well, here's the issue. The security clearance could be threatened by having a foreclosure or a bankruptcy on their record. And what we have found, in most cases, the short sale doesn't threaten their security clearance. So it's just these two things right here could put you in a position to take a listing that somebody else might not have been able to because they didn't even understand this. Now, this is important. This doesn't impact every single state, but this is a state-to-state scenario. In many states, the potential for a deficiency judgment is there. That means that even after the foreclosure is concluded, the servicer, the lender, could take legal action against the borrower to recover what is lost. And this could also happen in a short sale. That's why it's so important in a short sale to not just negotiate the approval of the short sale, but to negotiate that the waiver of deficiency takes place as well. Have I given you enough to say, yeah, this is something I want to do, this is something I need to do? Then I want you to come to this class. So here's the deal. We're going to be live and in person in Monrovia on December 13th. We have the Courtyard by Marriott already reserved. We're all there. We've already had a few registrations come in. Now, everyone is invited. Outside agents can go, but outside agents are going to pay $499 for this course. That's not the special price that you all have. I'm going to get to that. So you have very special pricing, but everything I've talked about so far is $499. Now, I've had at least 2 emails from your Northern California group saying, Tony, you know, we're Northern California. Can I get that special price for the online on demand? which we just launched this week? And the answer is yes. If you're part of the Northern Cal group, you can't physically be there on the 13th. You can use the same discount code that I'm about to share and sign up for the on-demand course as well. Now, these are the modules that I cover. This is the online, but this is what I cover live and in person as well. I have to, it's a lot of content. It really is a day and a half class, but I do my best, I get it done to get all this information covered in 23 in one day. Now, the good news for the live in-person folks, there's no exam. See, the folks that take it online, they have to take a quiz after each section, each module, and they have to take a 30-question final exam at the end. The good news for you all that go live and in person is you don't have to take those quizzes. At the end of that day, December 13th, those of you that are there will be certified. You'll have the designation and you'll be able to use it in all of your marketing efforts. The $499 also includes the first year's membership. It's $99 a year after that. It's important that you understand this is not lifelong, it's yearly. If you see the value, you'll come back again because you cannot use the CDPE logo, the name, you can't use any of those things if you're not an active CDPE. Your special price is $299. That's the least expensive I've ever offered it. Now, when you go to cdpe.com, it's important that you put in this code, the YHSGR200. You need to put in that code in order to see the price in the cart come down from $499 to $299. I know I hit you with a lot of information, but just a couple more slides. When you're a member, once you graduate, you have access to our back office, our dashboard, our resource library of forms, checklists, and disclosures. As I mentioned, usage of the logo, the name, the completion certificate, the referral network that's building now as CDPs are sending referrals to CDPEs. We have our own private Facebook group. In fact, something we just launched this week that I'll share when we do the live class is we now have our advanced program. Our advanced program just launched, and that is basically a marketing package that includes a website, a distressed property website, and monthly marketing materials that you can put out. So that will be something that, that you'll have access to once you become a standard member. Here's a look at the back office. It shows you just easily click on the various items to get to that content. And that's basically it. What I'll do is any questions you have, if you want to take a few minutes, I'm happy to answer it. But you just need to go to cdpe.com and just make sure that at cdpe.com you use this code to get the cost down to the $299 price. Now, Rudy has assured me, and we're planning on having at least 40 agents there. He sees what's coming, and he wants to be the office with the most CDPEs in California. And he's off to a really good start, especially after December 13th. Any questions on what I've covered?
Hey, Tony, real quick, I went through your course last year.
Mm-hmm.
And still I renewed my certification and everything. Can I still attend next month, hang out and go through everything just to be
Yeah, you know what we could do is let me do this. Let me come up with a special number for individuals like yourself that just want to audit it, you know, and we'll come up with a number on that and then a process for doing that. We just can't put a code out there because that can get confusing. But I understand your situation. If you are a member in good standing, you've already been through the course before. You did the Zoom version.
Yeah.
And now you want to attend the live version. We'll work out something special.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And your name, sir?
Greg Millette.
Okay, Greg.
Yeah,
Okay.
I renewed in July, so
All right,
for
awesome.
another year.
We'll take care of you. I'll
I
get that
appreciate it.
information to Hazel by tomorrow, Friday at the latest.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
I have a question. Thank you so much. I signed up because I agree it's going to be probably a couple more of those in our future.
Mhm.
And my question is that because of the COVID, circumstances might be special. And being in California, we know lawyers, attorneys, groups actually jumping on these type of opportunities. Do you see any new regulations compared to what's in the past, and if that's updated in your course? Let's say anything, like for instance, you are from Florida, but California is a little bit different. Is that you aware of anything or going to be updated in your course?
Well, I have not heard of anything. And again, it's almost impossible to be able to keep track of what 50 different states do and what counties do within the states. I have a lot of California agents that go through my course, and not one of them has said, look, there's legislation pending or legislation that has passed granting people more time. Now, the fact that attorneys are involved, well, that's what they do. When they smell the money. And what's going to happen is foreclosure defense attorneys have been able to turn this into a huge profit center by being able to stall, by delay the process. So there's certain things that I cannot speak with authority on because they're very local, but the process of short sales, the process of engaging distressed homeowners, teaching you what to say, how to say it, and when to say it, that's all universal. That's not state specific at all. That applies to every single area of the country.
Thank you.
Do you have a list of attorneys in California?
I don't, because I don't want to get into the, are you endorsing them kind of thing? I let the community do that. So what tends to happen is within our private Facebook group, the question would be asked, and individuals will go ahead and say, listen, here's an attorney I work with, or here is a negotiator that I work with. So we may add that in the future if we see that there is a need, but right now the community is doing a really good job of keeping each other informed.
One more question about this. Actually, it's on your website. So that website is providing properties. It's going to be or already in foreclosure, or more like about your course and, like informational?
Well, we're not into providing a list of properties. We're strictly an educational component. The properties, that's the easiest part. People ask me all the time, where do I find them? I go, it's public record. So once foreclosure action has been started, it's all public record that you can pull up right from your courthouse site. So, but no, if you want to get more detailed lists, there's companies like Realty Track, there's Land Voice, there's other companies that you can subscribe to. And I do recommend looking at one of these because at least with these companies, you can get phone numbers, and they scrub the phone numbers against the do not call list, which is important. So
yeah, no, I was just wondering, our title company, part of it has that, but I was just wondering if that's part of your offering on your website or not. So
no. Well, right. Yeah. So what we try to do is, whenever possible, we point you, like, let's say there's a title company that's sponsoring the event that we're going to be speaking at. Well, I'm pretty sure that since they're there, it's because they're short sale friendly and they understand the process and they can support you. So we're going to highly encourage you to take care of those that are taking care of you. And they may have some additional services that they can provide you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hi, Tony. This is Christy. Quick question for you, and it's a little personal. Sorry. So I took your course, the $299 course last year. I've already signed up and re-amped for this year. I do want to come to the session that you're having with us. Is that okay if I come, or do I have to pay another?
Well, that's what Greg just asked, and there will be a fee, but it'll be a minor fee. It won't be anything. We'll work out something, so honestly, I didn't even factor that into the decision making here. And so I'm going to assess this and say, okay, how low can we get this price to basically audit the class since you're already a CDPE, but we will work something out. We just have to make sure that it's individuals that are in active and in good standing. If it's someone that never renewed, because there were a few people that signed up when we first started, and then when the renewal came around, they let their membership lapse. It might be better for them to start from scratch, based on this pricing. But I'll work something out and let Hazel know, I would say by Friday, what we could do for individuals like yourself that are in good standing, you've taken the course already, and you just want to audit this live and in-person class.
Yes, live and in person is always good.
Yes, I agree.
Awesome.
We'll work something out. I promise. It'll be fair.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Tony.
My
Hazel,
pleasure.
would you mind getting back to me as soon as possible? Because I was offering, I was offering to help others get to the location if needed. So I need to know if I can make it or not. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What airport is close to Monrovia?
Oh, that's a local person's question there. I think the question was, what airport was closest to Monrovia?
So probably Burbank is going to be
Burbank,
the
yeah.
closest one, or LAX. It's not that close, but that would be the next one.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing today, Tony. So we're pretty excited for the upcoming live in-person training or class.
Yes, I'm excited.
All
Not
right.
just that I get to see all of you, but I also get to have my favorite hamburger, In-N-Out Burger. So anytime I get a chance to go to California or Vegas or Texas, that's my first stop.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So
I'm sorry, Tony, but we're gonna have to get you a Five Guys. If you
Oh, I know. I keep hearing that. You know what? On this trip, I shall try both. How's that?
You got to do Pie and Burger in Pasadena. Sorry, Christy. Pie and Burger in Pasadena.
Okay, it's a burger off. Let's make it happen.
Bring you some
All right.
burgers and you give us more discounts. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So I think I'm okay to go ahead and go. Hazel, you guys will continue with your meeting. All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so
folks.
much for your time, Tony.
All right. I'll see you guys on the 13th. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ruby.
Bye-bye.